So in this chapter, we're gonna learn what is UV, materials, and how to apply textures to our models. I'm gonna start explain what is a UV. A UV are two-dimensional coordinates for a three-dimensional object surface. What that means? That means that we're gonna map all of our faces from the objects in a 2D space, helping us to create and apply textures. So let me show you what is a UV. I'm gonna go to UV editing workspace and I'm gonna enter in the edit mode on the cube. So here in the UV editor, we are seeing the faces of our cube positioned here in the 2D space. Alright, I'm gonna create a 2D textures here for the cube. I'm gonna go to material properties in the base color. I'm gonna create a image texture, new, just test UV, color black, generate type blank. I'm gonna click OK. We're not seeing the cube black because Blender is not showing the textures. Alright, we're gonna go to the viewport visualizations. I'm gonna click mid mouse button and drag. So I'm gonna click this arrow in the shading drop down menu. Gonna click in texture. So we're now seeing that our cube is black. You don't need to follow this just to understand what's going on. I'm going to the image editor and change to paint. Okay, I'm gonna go to object mode and texture paint. In the top face, I'm gonna paint a little dot, just like a dice. 2 dots, 3 dots. I don't know if it's dice like that. Just kind of I'm doing randomly. Alright. And 6. That's kind of janky, but it's just for visualization. So let's go. You probably realize that while I'm painting here, it's painting here in the 2D space. Alright? The texture is being applied and be painted too. I can paint here on the texture space too, and it's gonna be applied in the 3D object. If I'm gonna paint outside the UV, it's not going to show up in anywhere in the cube because this place is not mapped with any part of the UV from the R object. Alright, let me show you one thing. I'm going back to the UV editor. I'm gonna go back to the edit mode. I'm gonna select this face up here with the 2 dots, and in the UV editor I'm gonna press G and move the face to the circle we did outside. So now the circle is showing up in a face that used to be a 2 dots. So if you understood UV already, you're seeing that we can map the faces, the islands from the 3D object into a 2D space for texturing. We can also, in the UV editor, G for grab and move our faces or islands. We can press R to rotate, and if you're seeing here, it is rotating the coordinate in the object, but not the face. The face from the object continues, keep the same transform, but if I rotate here, it's gonna rotate the coordinate from the 2D space. Alright, and I can select the entire island and rotate everything, and it's all over the place now. Okay, that here is a UV. We're gonna do that for our battery. So back to our file, the cube already came with a UV in it. Probably the battery has a UV in it, but it's not right at all. So we're gonna go to UV editing, and we need to select all the face from the object. So I click 8, select everything, and we are seeing that the UV just had a cycle here. That circle, I don't know what represents. Oh, showed up a lot of things around here. Well, let's test what this circle and the square are represented for our UV. Right now I'm the island selected mode. These are islands, alright? Every place of the UV are separate are islands. So what we're gonna do to see what's going on here, let's go to the material properties. Let's create a new material. Let's name it to UV underscore test. Let's go to the base color, click in the yellow dot here. We're gonna create a new image texture. Let's click new. We're gonna rename it like UV underscore checker and generate type from UV grid or color grid. I prefer color grid, alright? That's more information that we can see. Let's go to the color grid and click OK. We're now seeing that the color grid and our UV checker is showing up in the UV editor right now. Alright? But not showing up here. So the same thing we did to the cube, we need to go to the viewport display, click in the drop down menu and viewport shading, and click in the texture. So now we are seeing the texture here. Let me explain some things. We can read here the H5, H6, H7, G5, G6, G7, and we can see where it is in the 2D space. H5, H6, H7. But here in the 2D space, we can see that this is a perfect square. In the object, it isn't. So that's not a good UV. A good UV can show the texture the same way that we are seeing in the 2D space. Alright? So let's go to the top, and we can see that's not showing anything here. It just stretch as yellow, orange, pink, purple, blue, and go on. We can see here in the top that this middle part is good, but as we go to the edges is stretching out. That's not good too. We can go to the bottom and we can see that stretch out here too, and here in the middle it's all over the place. It's unworkable. Alright, so let's fix this. If we go to the edit mode, select everything, press U, or we can go up here in the UV menu. We can go for the first option, unwrap. If we click, we can go see this message. This message showing up that we failed to do the unwrap. Unwrap failed to solve it, one of one islands. Edge seams may need to be added. So let's add the edge seams. What is the edge seams? Edge seams is edges that we're gonna tell Blender that's a cut for the UV. Is how we made the UV island. Let's go to the edge selected mode. Let's click in this edge right here. We can go clicking and down, but let's go to click the first, go to the bottom, hold down Ctrl and click the last one. Alright, for selecting everything in between, we're gonna type Ctrl E and select mark seam. Now we can see that this edge has a red color in it. That means there is a seam for the UV, a cut. for the UV. Alright, let's continue. I'm gonna select all the ring edge here, hold Alt and left click, do the same thing, Ctrl E, mark scene. Alright, let's go make to the bottom here too. Alt click, Ctrl E, mark scene. Now let's go to the face selected mode. Let's hover the mouse over the middle part of the object and type L. We're gonna select just the faces that are a UV island. Alright, let's press U and unwrap. So what we're seeing right now, we're seeing that the textures has changed and showed up a new UV island here. The letters and numbers here are in the vertical. I don't like that, so let's make it in the right way. Press R and rotate. I'm rotating to the wrong side. Let's rotate to the other side, and it's done. We are seeing here too that we have a little distorted part in our texture here. So why is that happen? That happened because we have the subdivision surface on. We can click on this little monitor here that says real time to turn off, and we are seeing that our UV is now, it's not distorted at all. So let's continue. Let's go to the top side. Let's go to the edge selection mode. We're gonna click this ring with Alt left click. Alright, let's gonna click up here too. Let's gonna click down here and up here. All of this is gonna be seams. Alright, the vertical ones, we need to be selecting those for making seams too. Let's now go into the face selector mode and press L to selection all the UV island that the mouse is hovering on. L, 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 and U unwrap. Okay, now it's seeing that's working a lot better. There's no distortion here, and we are be able to reading the texture. A good UV is a UV that you can read a texture. Let's go to down here. We're gonna select it with L, press U and UV, and we don't need to do any scene down here. Alright, let's select everything. We can go here and see that UVs are overlapping. We don't want that. We want the island to have your own space. So we're gonna select all. We're gonna go to the UV menu up here, and we're gonna see those two operations. I use them a lot, so I'm gonna assign them to the quick menu. Right click and add to the quick menu, quick favorites. Right click and add to the quick favorites too, those two. So here we can press Q and the quick favorites menu pop up. We're gonna go to average, island scales, and Q again and pack islands. Alright, so now we have our UV. We have the UV for the battery. Next class, I'm gonna show you the materials, how it works, and the principal shader. And after that, we're gonna show you the textures. We have some textures done for the battery, so we're gonna apply the textures in the material and move the UV to fit the texture. So don't worry if your UV don't seem like mine. That's not a problem. When we're gonna apply the textures, we're gonna move the UV all over the place, so don't worry about it. Okay.